the ice. Shoot straight. Stay calm. Here we go.
Fire!
I've never seen anyone do that.
Well, it's still a few weeks before we get the next installment of The Hunger Games, which promises to be one of the biggest movies of the year, The Hunger Games Catching Fire. But in the meantime, to satiate those appetites for all things games, we've got another movie revolving around games. It's called Ender's Game.
You can't absorb these kind of losses. War isn't a game where you get to reboot and start over. That can't happen, understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you? Because I've trained others. Each one ultimately a failure.
This is an exceptionally smart and interesting movie and quite spectacular to watch. I was really surprised when I went into it because I didn't expect much, quite frankly. But it's sort of a combination of a lot of movies you've seen. There's a little bit of Hunger Games, there's a little bit of Star Wars, there's a little Lord of the Flies, which is a really interesting aspect here. But it makes its own creative statement, I think, here. The basic premise is mankind is on the ropes. An alien force is invading and trying to kill off human beings. And the last great hope, they think, is the young generation.
You'll be the finest commander we've ever trained.
So I'm not the first.
No. It is up to these kids to try to save the human race, but it's really up to Harrison Ford and his lieutenant Viola Davis to find the chosen one, the one that can lead us out of danger and save us all.
My father trained horses. I've raised yearlings since I was 5 years old. I know a thoroughbred when I see one. We can't lose him.
And they do find him. His name is Ender Wiggin, and he's played really nicely in this movie by Asa Butterfield. You've seen him in other movies. He was particularly good in The Boy with the Striped Pajamas. But what this movie also does is it really is sort of like Lord of the Flies in that sense. It creates this community of young people, and they sort of turn on each other, and they have to deal with each other. In addition to Asa Butterfield, there's also a couple of girls you may know. Hailee Steinfeld's in this, and Abigail Breslin. Both of them very, very good. Both former Oscar nominees, by the way. But mostly it's the guys. And Asia, the Ender character, is pitted against a character played by Moises Arias, who used to be on Hannah Montana. And he is the ultimate bully. And this movie has a lot to say about bullying tactics and that sort of thing. It's got a lot of good messages, I think, for its target young audience. This movie also really holds you in its grip, and it doesn't let go. It is very compelling to watch and very exciting. As I said, the spectacular sequences where they fight the aliens really is worth the price of admission, and it's very, very well acted. Harrison Ford is sort of back in his Star Wars mode here, but he really doesn't have a whole lot to do except spout lines that you know he can do in his sleep, and he almost does here. Viola Davis is very good, but it's really the kids' movie. I do recommend this, particularly if you're young and you've read the book. You won't be disappointed. And you know what? If you're an adult, you might like this thing too. I say go.